Good
Oh,
evening,
God.
guys. It's the Friday night takeaway. Me, Mr. B, my left hand, right hand. Oh, sorry, he's at the bottom. Anthony Herbert, as always, he's the regular on the takeaway. We've got bath time. He's a bit controversial, but one thing he does do is explain his controversy. So we're joined by bath time tonight to get his unique take on all things Premier League. Obviously, guys in the chat, if you do have something that you want to discuss with us, let it go. But we do have 4 topics to start the show. So look, it's the Friday night takeaway. Me, Mr. B. Let's get the show on the road. Welcome, bath time to the madness. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. I got stung by a wasp at 4 o'clock in the morning last night, so it's been a very annoying day, to be perfectly honest. It landed on me and it looked at me when it stung me. I felt violated, and then it ran away. And if you've seen that film Aliens with Sigourney Weaver, where she gets in this sort of JCB power loader, threw a towel on myself, 2 cans of Axe deodorant body spray, and was just running around the house and the garden, having my own little private battle with some wasps. So that's what my night was. How are you?
I'm always good, man. Friday nights, that's the best night of the week for me, man. I don't have work for 2 days, so my enjoyment starts as soon as this show finishes, and I can have my semi party. Anthony, how are you doing? You're looking very confused down there. What's happening, man?
I'm not too bad, Mr. B. Me too. I've had some controversy with some wasp little bastards. They are. Yeah. No, I didn't know. I'm fine. I looking forward to this stream. Obviously, first time I think I've been on with bath time, but we all know what bath time's like, so I'm really looking forward to this one.
What is this about controversial? And we know what bath time is like. I've got to deal with wasps, and I got you two stinging me.
It's all right. You can kill the wasp. You can't kill us. That's the
Yeah,
only
it's
problem.
true.
That's the only. You can slap us. Of course you can. That's no problem.
No.
But we won't be going anywhere. We won't be going anywhere. Stephanie Griffiths. Hello, my dear. Oh, big up number 6. Thank you very much. Big T. Was Fabrizio wrong again? I'm sick and tired of Fabrizio, the tapping merchant. Rebel. Today, tomorrow, and every day until they are gone. Glazers out. Purge the rats from Old Trafford. I take it you've your Sky subscription hasn't been renewed, Rebel. No problem. Keep on smiling, man. Richard Herbert. Big up Mr. B, Mr. Bath Time, and Mr. Brother. Hope you're all good, Mr. B. Are you a bit concerned about the Man United transfer doors this summer so far? Yes, we will talk about that. Mr. B, not wasps, please. There you go. Right. Bath time. It's an Onana deal.
Yes.
Obviously, we can get your opinion on whether you think De Gea should be going or not. We don't have to talk about the disrespect or lack of disrespect. But first things first, do you think that we did need to replace a goalkeeper?
Yeah, 100%. I think that De Gea, Lloris, and Fabianski were sort of standouts in the Premier League of looking like dinosaurs. To be honest, it's like finding a coelacanth in your local fishmongers, watching them play. So I think that in order to move on, we have to, in order to move on to a sort of new style of football and more successful style of football, we had to sort of get rid of De Gea. And I believe that Hugo Lloris has been left out of the Spurs tour party as well. So the times are changing.
Anthony, I want to hear your take on this. Obviously, you're quite happy with your goalkeeper. Does he play out from the back? Does he hit balls better than De Gea? And do you think Onana is going to be an upgrade?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned about our goalkeeper. I'm quite happy with our goalkeeper. He actually communicates with the defenders and tells them if they're not doing the job properly. He does have a go at them. It reminds me of Pickford or how Peter Schmeichel used to play back in the day when your back four wasn't playing really well. and obviously that controversy with them. But I mean, regarding United, I think yeah, I think you need to replace that goalkeeper, De Gea. I don't know why this deal still hasn't been done. I don't know if it's anything to do with either the money that you bidded for him, or maybe it's an ongoing factor. Maybe what's in his contract. Maybe he's trying to. I think I read something about his contract. He slightly wasn't happy with the contract that was offered with him to him. Sorry. So hopefully they can sort that out, and you can get your goalkeeping prices over with, and get this deal done over the line quickly and possibly as you could.
Half time, is this a deal that we can't afford?
Well, it's interesting, or well, maybe it isn't interesting. But before the show started, I did the mathematics for financial fair play, and with FFP from 2022, basically you're not allowed to spend more on wages, transfers, and agents fees than 70% of your total income. So I did the mathematics, and this is based off Onana costing 50 million all in and being paid 150k a week for 5 years. That will cost us 17.8 million a season. De Gea was costing us 19.5 million, despite having no outstanding transfer fee. And all in all, it works out to 4.68% of our total of our ability to spend stuff will be going on Onana, and if we'd renewed De Gea, it would have been at least 5.1%. So this actually might be a cost-cutting exercise. Well, it is to get Onana in. We're actually saving money, but it would be an absolute embarrassment at this point with Onana. He's putting stuff on the internet of him going for farewell dinners. The deal's done. I think it's come out in the last 5 minutes that Gazzetta dello Sport or someone has said that the deal is agreed in principle, and I suspect that our negotiators are just having a wonderful time out in Milan. It's a great city, and they're enjoying the food and stuff. But I'd really like them to wrap up and come home with Onana.
This is a question that obviously Matthew wants to know, and I'm not going to ask. I know he's not asking me. Anthony, if you know the answer, great. But bath time again, I'm going to assume this one's going to be for you, bruv. How does FFP actually work?
This is my understanding of it, right? I don't know if this is true or not, but I went through a document from last year. Basically, they have tried to make it as easy as possible. So, Man United made $709 million in the 2021-22 season. All right, that's not including expenses or whatever. That's what's come in. So that's the total revenue. And the way FFP works is you're only allowed to spend 70% of that on transfer fees, agents' fees, and wages. So every player's expense per season is calculated by their wages times their transfer fee. So if Onana is 50 million, he's costing 10 million per season. And then if he's on 150k for 5 years, that is a further 7.8 million a season, making it out to be 7.8 million. And then that is his and then also he has his transfer value, or something called amortization, calculated on the spreadsheet. That's where I begin to get a bit lost on amortization. But basically, what I can tell you is it takes 70% of $709 and convert that into pounds. That's 380 million pounds. That is how much we have to maintain our squad and add to it. And Onana is roughly 5% of that.
Guys,
so I don't know if that helps anyone.
I was gonna say I semi-understand it. It still is a bit confusing, to be fair, but
yeah,
I understand it a little bit more. Anthony, did you understand FFP?
I can understand bits, but I mean, I understood what Bathson was saying as well. Half of it I could explain to you, but Bathson, basically what he's done, he's hit the nail on the head there. Obviously bringing it out within basic facts for people to understand. So he does do his own work.
That's what he's here for. Vincent, you notice that they find us, but they haven't done anything to City for the 117 rule breaks, and they haven't been punished yet. Is any? I mean, can anything happen? Is anything really going to happen? They fine them, so what? They're not going to take the titles away, and they're not going to deduct points. I know you can't let them get away with it, but is there anything that can be done?
No. Like, I
Mm.
can't remember who the CEO of City is, but there were leaked emails during COVID of him threatening either UEFA or FIFA, I think it was UEFA, with an army of lawyers for 50 years if they didn't wise up. And the financial resources to City means they can tie these cases up for years and years and years. And I think that we should just, instead of like sort of crying and complaining about City's financial transgressions, we should be more concentrating on how we get United back to the standards that unfortunately City are setting on the football pitch, instead of worrying about what they're doing in their accounts room.
I hear that across the pond. We've got Bathman, the top man, Mr. B, and Anthony, the Arsenal Man United fan. Is that about right?
Well, he's got the first bit right, but the last bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about them in a little while. We'll talk about that situation in a bit. I want to hear. I want to get Bath Times take on all of this, without going too political.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Where was I gonna go? Where was I going with this? Where was I going with this? Okay, our deals. We always tend to stretch them, and Anthony, I'm gonna go with you on. Look, we'll go to Timber anyway. But our deals. Why is it that our deals always seem to take so long? Liverpool get linked with a player in the morning, and then they're signed in the afternoon or the day after. Why do our ones always drag out? Even down to obviously Arsenal. I thought that he had been signed already. I don't watch Arsenal news, and I tend not to watch Sky Sports news, to be fair. So I actually thought he had signed already. So when I'm hearing today that he still hasn't signed, what's the situation here?
Do you know what, Mr. B? That makes two of us. But I will say, I reckon this deal was personally done at least a week ago, and they've just come out and released it now. I just feel, we just prolong stuff. I think players are already roughly signed with our teams a week before he actually comes out, on the breaking news on Sky Sports or whatever. But yeah, I'm surprised because with this one, I'm glad the deal was done, by the way, because I wanted Timber. So I think, Manchester United was trying to get him last season, weren't they, Timber? So obviously we didn't know what happened there, but you bidded more than what we did. I think you bidded around about, I reckon it was around about 65 you bidded for him last season, wasn't it?
Man United tax.
Yeah, it was it was quite high. But yeah, I'm happy with this. Um, Fans are pretty much done. Arsenal are saying, well, why is it that the Timber deal is come out, but not as much as the Declan Rice one? So obviously, we all knew that Declan Rice is signed and all this and that, but it'd be breaking news that you say, oh, that he's obviously signed this, that, and the other. But it's an ongoing thing. I think it's something to do with the board and that. I think they didn't want to release the deals obviously just before it's done or actually on the day. I reckon they do it a few days after. So I suppose it's a safety thing. I don't know, but it does take
Spread the YouTube hits, yeah.
Yeah, most probably, yeah. But it's like what you said with Liverpool. Is how do you do it? I wish Arsenal did the same. Like we just said, I suppose you wish they did the same. Sign. They're after a player in the morning, and by lunchtime they've got them. So, but it just seems with us, it's just typical same old. It just drags and drags on. But what I'm happy with Arsenal this season is actually we've got our players in early instead of late. So that's another good thing. I think we might sign a couple of more players towards the from now towards the end of the transfer window. Same thing as your team was to be with Man United. I know you signed Mason Mount. I think I think you've signed this goalkeeper, but it will come out, eventually, within a couple of days. I think you'll be a Manchester United player. And also, I feel that you can get a couple more as well.
Half time. Why are we struggling, man? And why do Arsenal struggle? Is it a media thing? I know they always talk about trying to stretch things on because they want media hits. I was joking, but that kind of is true, to be fair. What's your take on all of it? And do you think we're actually improving? I mean, look, we got Mountain early-ish. Do you think that nothing's going to change until the new regime's gone? If they go,
I really don't know, because like the cynic in me would think that we do our deals late because it saves 2 months in wages, and that that can be a lot of money. But I mean, today, right, I saw that Everton had to take some stuff down off their social media because there was pictures of a player in the background that hadn't officially been announced training with them. Like Declan Rice, I think it was pointed out in the comments, has literally only just got back from his holidays. So that might explain the inertia in that. But with Man United, I think like we're a club that we can't see the forest for the trees because we just focus too much on little details and things like that. Like, I don't know if you remember the Anthony Martial deal with the Ballon d'Or clause and all that in it, but that also took a long time to negotiate. Declan Rice, sorry, not Declan Rice, I wish, Mason Mount. We were claiming that we were going to step away from that deal when it should have been done, and that's an early deal. So I don't know. I think it could be the Man United tax. It could be that we're absolutely incompetent doing transfers, which I think is the most likely. But in last year, did we go on a jolly to Italy to try and sign Rabiot and just came back with nothing, and went to Barcelona and came back with a couple of postcards? Like, I think that the club just has wild variations in how they value players, and I don't really know, to be honest. It's just annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, it does my head in. I'd rather we didn't have to sign, and I'm hoping that it does change. But I don't see it. I thought this season was going to be, the start of something good. I do believe we'll get the players in. It's just a matter of
Which
when.
players?
Well, I still think we're going to get. I think we're going to get everybody that we need by half time. The goalie's already done, although it hasn't been done. I still think we're going to get another central midfielder, and I still think we're going to get one other striker. What I keep saying is that I think if Harry Kane became available in the last 2 days or that last week of the transfer window, as broke as everybody says we are, we will find the money to buy him. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking all these little sales, these little chippy sales that everybody's getting pissed off with. Ten Hag wants to spend money. He didn't want to come to the club and be tied down. So I think all of the one players that he just feels that I've got no chance. Elanga, he's got no chance in the squad, rightly or wrongly, his opinion. McTominay is he if they get good money, he'll go. If they don't, then he'll stay. He'll work with him. Maguire, I think, wants to go. Fred is definitely going to go. So all of these little, these little 10 millions, 15 millions, maybe will add up to a 60 or a 70 or a 80. We're hoping it will add up to more than that. And then they can use that to buy a striker. If that's what...
I completely agree. I think that what's happening for United at the moment is we had to move fast for Mason Mount, even though we moved at about the pace of a glacier. But Arsenal and Liverpool were interested in Mason Mount. Like, lots of people wanted Mason Mount, so we had to move quite quickly. We absolutely have to get the goalkeeper in before the tour, because it's not just about having a first team goalkeeper, it's about the training. Like, because how are you going to train a press with David De Gea in goal? Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, so you need that goalkeeper in as soon as possible. But I think you're right. And look, what's going to happen after Onana comes in is we're going to be a selling club, and we're going to look how much we can get for Maguire, Fred, McTominay, Elanga, all these players. And Ten Hag loves money, and he loves spending it. I mean, spent £85 million on Anthony. which is unbelievable when you think about it. Like he's like the 6th most expensive player in the Premier League history. But I think that we're going to try and get a big kitty and get a big player in. That could be Caicedo. That could be Kane. Hopefully, it could be anyone. But I don't think we'll see much movement in the transfer market until we've sorted out the futures of Maguire and McTominay in particular. Fred and Langer are gone. Like Tellez and Bailey, if we can get any money for them, have them. Even if we can't get any money for them, just get them off.
Away.
Just get them away. We'll need to get a second goalkeeper in, but that'll be under 5-10 million. And then I think that we're just going to have a Maguire McTominay fortnight, and then when I suspect that both of them will, I suspect one of them will go, and it will be McTominay, and that we'll stick with Maguire, and Maguire will dig his heels in a little bit and say he deserves another chance with a different.
He'll go in January. He'll probably go in January then.
Like on loan, or full sale.
If Ten Hag wants him to go, I just think that if he stays, he's not going to get the game. He's not going to get any game time. He's not going to get any, and then he'll be forced to go. He'll have to be forced to leave in January, whether he wants to or not. He'll be forced to leave in January. As long as
you think we'll keep Lindelof?
Yeah, I think Lindelof did better in the times that he played. It's whether or not...
Yeah. I don't disagree with that, but the point is, right, is that Lindelof, right, I think wants a move as well. Like Lindelof was a really good player when he came from Portugal. He was highly regarded, and that man would walk into half a Serie A. Like Jose would take him back in a split second. Like Lindelof and Smalling, what could be better? I think that we're more likely to sell Lindelof and McTominay than we are to get rid of Maguire, and it's also financially motivated because we'll take a huge loss on Maguire. We're going to have to pay him about 10 million to leave the club, like legally. And he's not going to waive that. Like we'd have to pay him that 10 million. And it's going to mean that in order to replace Maguire, we've only got about 15 million to get in another centre back. So I don't think it makes financial sense to replace Maguire. McTominay, we're in the money if we sell McTominay because despite the fact he's on incredibly low wages, he's an academy player. He's only on 65k, Anthony. Like, if we sell McTominay, it means that we can spend like an extra 50 or 60 million in this transfer window. Same with the Langer. Like, even if we sell him for 10 million, it means we can spend another 25, 30 million because it didn't cost us anything.
But that Elanga, I did read today that Everton wants him.
Yeah, Everton are building quite an interesting team. Like Elanga.
Yeah. I think was it about 35 million or 40 million?
How much? No, they ain't bidding that for Elanga.
Yeah,
they come in with that with Elanga.
It's about 30. Yeah, honestly.
35
that's how much you want. That's how much you want for him.
Okay, yeah.
Elanga's about a 20-25 million pound player.
I would say 20 million. I would say 20 million. If we got 20 million, I'd be very, very happy.
Yeah, I think it was 30 million, but with his wages, it turned out to be something like 35 all in total, sort of thing.
Jesus, no, I couldn't. Like I said, look, if we get 30 million, then that's great. But Everton are bloody broke.
So Anthony Gordon went for 40 million, Mr. B. Like,
Jesus, you're right.
Like Elanga is an international with late knockout experience in the Champions League, who's come through the United Academy, which is still worth something. Like managers like United players because they normally are hardworking, good boys. Like they don't cause a lot of problems. I think that if you look at that £40 million deal for Anthony Gordon, 30 million for Elanga is not that crazy.
Yeah, but it's who wants to buy him. I think this is the problem.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's all well and good, us saying what we want, but if the people coming in are only bidding the 15 and the 20 million, then he's probably going to go for that. If somebody else comes in, obviously, if we can get some sort of, I say, bidding war like we might do with Fred, all of a sudden, then Listen, don't laugh. Fred's in
Solo
demand.
getting involved, is he?
Fred's in demand, man. Galatasaray, Fulham, the Saudis that we'll go into in a bit. I mean,
Well,
look,
Fred's a fun player, but look at it this way, Mr. B. Right. First of all, I agree with you about the market. A player is pretty much worth what someone will pay for him. But the way you can do it, right, is with Elanga, we can sell him for like 20 million over 3 years to Everton. And then we can have clauses of they get another 7.5, we get another 7.5 million if Everton stay up. Because that's, that's why they're buying him. So you can, even though like the market will only pay a certain amount for it, like will only pay sort of 20 million for Elanga, the fact that they want him means that you can add on stuff to that if he's a success, and it's worth it. And maybe that's why these deals take so long. Maybe this is why, we're arguing over 10 million for a semi-final appearance in the next 3 years for Onana.
I mean, it's the same with us with Declan Rice. Obviously we put an £80 million bid in for him, and they laughed at that in June. Then we upped it to 90, and now it's 105 million. Well, it's 100 million with £5 million add-ons. But to pay that, we're paying that over. I believe now it's 2 seasons, so we're paying 50 million over the two seasons. Look,
but it's also, Anthony, quite interesting that the most expensive midfielder before Declan Rice in the Premier League was Enzo Fernandez at 104 million. And I think that West Ham's target was to make Declan Rice the most expensive midfielder in the Premier League of all time. And they've done it. They've done it by like $1 million. Shout out to Andrew Williams, by the way. I'm a big fan of Andrew, and that's enough of him.
Andrew, he's asked a question about our transfer window so far. What are you rating it? I'm gonna give it a 2 because we got Mount in semi-early, but until deals are done, then I can't. So far it's shit, but I'm hoping that it's gonna be at least a 7, maybe an 8 by the end of the season.
Like, look, if we get rid of Fred, Maguire, and McTominay, I mean that is a 10 out of 10 for you, isn't it?
You're fucking right, mate.
Yeah, and I think that we'll do 75% of that. I think that Fred and McTominay will go. I think Maguire will sort of stick in, but it's not, for me. It's not so much about like the players that we get in. It's I want a lot of players out, like Tellez and Bailly, that just sort of stay on the books. I also want good loans for some of our players. Like, I really want us to play Palestri next season, but if we're not going to play him, let's send him somewhere useful on loan. And let's get a pathway to the first team for these players that we think have got the potential to make it. And then, like, if we get someone in like Rasmus Højlund, unfortunately, for me it depends on price, because Rasmus Højlund is not the answer to. It isn't going to turn Man United into title challengers, I don't think. Like, you have to look at sort of Berbatov, Cantona, like those sort of, like, I can't believe I'm saying this, Carrick, those kind of quality players in order to get us up. So if we sign Rasmus for 80 million, I think that's terrible business. But if we sign him for 40, I think that's decent. So a lot of it depends on on how we can rein Ten Hag in, because the man he's just crazy with money. He's like a lottery. Do you remember that Mickey Carroll who lived in Norwich that like blew? That's what Ten Hag is like. Like Casemiro for 70 million. That is 10% of Real Madrid's new stadium that we paid them for a 30-year-old. That's absolutely mental, no matter how good he's been.
Here's a question for this is for both of you. We've got one from Andrew Williams here. No player in the world, no one player in the world is going to turn us into title challengers. Half time, and to you, Anthony, as well. Obviously, Anthony, we're going to go with for Arsenal. How much players do we need?
I've spoken enough. Anthony, you go first.
You want about my team, Arsenal?
Yeah, I'm talking about Arsenal. Yeah, talk about Arsenal.
Okay,
Talk about Arsenal.
I think to be honest, if we had to compete with Man City, in the top of my head, I was going to say 7 players. Need 6 or 7 players this season we need to sign.
Wow.
7.
Yes.
That's 70% of your outfield squad.
Yeah. Yeah. Because but basically what it is, we've got a lot of deadwood. Well, we have got quite a bit of deadwood in our squad. To be honest with you, there's players there that we Arsenal fans don't even like. Um, Eddie Nketiah being one of them. Uh, But
Oh.
we like this Balogun. We loaned him out to in France. He scored, I think, it's around about 20, 25 goals. And apparently, he's come back and said he doesn't no longer want to play for us. Chelsea has put a bid in for him. We believe around about 40 million.
For Balogun?
So yeah, yeah. Chelsea's put a
Wow.
40, yeah, put a 40
Really?
million pound bid in for him.
Chelsea
And
are mental.
yeah, yeah. And also there's other players. I mean, obviously Granit Xhaka, he's gone now. Tomiyasu, he's injured. He won't be. He's not back until rumours is around about November, December time. So
You
he's
think
out
he's
for a lengthy
Deadwood, though?
period of time. Well, it's touch and go. I mean, some Arsenal fans do like him. You know,
Mm-hmm.
as a backup, like kind of guy
To
like a
Ben
right
White.
back. Yeah, to Ben White, yeah. And some fans are saying, well, look, he should leave. When we actually bought him for 20 million, in Serie A, where we bought him from, and he was in the rankings of defenders. He was the fifth best one. He was in the top 5 when we
I
bought him.
think that
And
that Spurs player, Christian Romero, might have been number 1 at some
yeah,
point in Syria. I'm stunned that you think that you need to get 7 outfielders into that
yeah,
team.
because there's
I
still
suppose that's
rumors.
City, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
that's just they're so good.
yeah, because it's like when you watch Man City, when they mix their substitutes halftime, or if a player's injured, they're replacing quality with quality. We
But they also have one
are
of the smallest squads.
Yeah, they have,
Like,
yeah, but
um, but do you not think it's experience that Arsenal need? When, for example, when that Liverpool game, I know everyone piled in on Arsenal for losing to for drawing Anfield, which is never a bad result, to be honest.
yeah,
But Zinchenko and Jesus were genuinely crying during the match. Xhaka didn't appear to know how to manage the occasion.
no.
You got battered by City twice. Do you not? And we've seen the quality of Arsenal and of your manager. Do you not think that you need older heads than Emil Smith Rowe on the training ground?
Yeah, I do feel that we need. In a minute, Odegaard's our best player up there. Obviously, he scored 15 goals last season. We signed Havertz. Arsenal fans are still confused where he's going to play. You know, it was leaked out that Arteta is he hasn't thought where he's going to play him.
I
In
think he'll
what
be a striker, to be honest.
and that's what I thought. That's what I thought he was going to be. And also, there's talks that Thomas Partey maybe just leaving.
I
He's
think you
thinking
should get
still.
rid of Partey. He's disappeared at Old Trafford, like pretty much every game. I'm not sure you can hang your basket on him.
I
He had a
think
good season.
he does blow a little bit hot and cold, but I feel like if he gets this certain knock, this injury, he's out for a lengthy, he's out for a certain amount of time. You're talking about maybe 2 to 3 months if he picks
Yeah,
up a certain injury.
I know, but
And
you got to remember, Anthony, right? That these footballers, for the last 3 years, have been playing in the most insane schedule in
yeah,
recorded history, like COVID, World Cups in the middle, in the middle of the season. It's like I think that for some has sailed, I believe that's the word, on Martial for his injury troubles. But with players, I think that maybe we can give them next season the injury prone, the ones that seem injury prone, because no one's ever
yeah,
had this kind of schedule before. It's relentless. It's crazy. I mean, how often can you play football during the week?
Oh, blimey, at my age now, I think I think 20 minutes into training and the first half, I think you got to come off.
Straight into an ice bath.
Yeah, straight into an ice bath. Yeah, I'd be like Mr. B. You know.
Well, I heard Mr. B's an absolute demon. He was compared to Diaby, like
Yeah,
with the
I
goal
was
that he
told by
scored.
Stoner. Obviously, their last game they played, they lost 3-2, obviously against Stoner's team and that. And Dolo told me that Mr. B, I think you scored the first two goals, didn't you?
Yeah, I scored the first one and assisted
Yeah,
the second one, but
yeah,
Who
I
gave the
can't do.
pens away?
yeah.
Errol
No,
gave,
apparently,
Solo gave one away.
If he'd become a lawyer, he might have
yes.
been able to talk his way out of it. Like
I
Ali
mean,
McBeal.
they all count. They all count. The goals all count. But Dolo did tell me they were two tap-ins. But, I think you're on side, Mr. B. If I'm
So
not
again,
mistaken, this is what he told me.
to tap it, listen. Look, if
They
we
all
lost,
count.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't care how the goals were in. We lost,
Yeah.
but I can't do. I'll do a game every. If I play tomorrow, I can't do anything. I'll be
What
on it
about your
for about
peak?
10 days.
Like when you were 22 or something.
I played all the
Like,
time. I played all the time. I played
yeah.
Saturday, Sunday. I partied on the Friday, played football.
Nice.
Yes.
Partied on the Saturday, played football on the Sunday. So it was a 40, but your body could take it now. I don't have that bounce back ability anymore. I used to laugh at all them old men before, oh, you've got to do this. Now I'm that old guy trying to explain to these younger guys that when they get to my age, man, and they want to play football and they can't, it makes no sense. We played through stupid injuries. I did my ACL, didn't do any rehab when I came out of my cast.
Oh my
And
God.
within 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I was playing again. And I know that I can feel it now. So, like there's
Yeah.
things that you need to do, but you just want to play. Them days, you just want to play. You wasn't getting paid for it. So you just want to go out there and play.
The
It's
Jack
hard.
Grealish way. Just
Yeah.
like,
yeah, the bloody Jack Grealish way. Yeah, so yeah, it's hard, but look, it is, it's what you love in it. I wouldn't have it any other way, to be fair. I wouldn't have it any other way.
yeah, no
I mean, and the
regrets.
lads you used to have on it in the changing rooms. If you go in you go in the showers like and the guys are there like they got your jeans and they time in a knot at the bottom, and you go to put your jeans on, your foot can come through. You think, what's going on here? Whipping you with towels. You've got this. What else? You're like, what?
The glory days, Anthony.
Yeah.
I tell you straight, I'm not the guy to get pranked, boy. I'm not that guy.
Are you not?
No, fuck it. Listen. There's stuff that they do, and they're going to do to other people. I will kick somebody's funny head in. I'm not interested in. I spend my good money on my clothes. I did. No, I'm not interested in there. Yeah, banter and all of that jokes. Don't touch my clothes. Don't touch my. I don't even think that's funny. I don't even think it's funny.
Right, Mr. B, what if this is what we used to do in our changing room quite a lot, is that if someone was like talking to a girl that they'd met the night before, when they're in the shower, I used to take their phone and I used to change this girl's telephone number with my number so that when I texted, it came up as, from Julia or whatever. And the end goal was always to ring them and get them to growl on the phone when it was on speakerphone. How would you have reacted to those kind of like wind-ups?
Yeah, I would take that. That's funny. Just don't touch my clothes. I don't understand. I don't understand why people, and then they think it's funny. But he's talking about the smell of liniment. Mr. Williams, liniment. See, I was a deep heat guy.
Deep heat.
I know that. Yeah, deep heat. So how liniment? I'm sure liniment must make you older than me.
I think Andrew's 40, but the one thing that I like about Andrew, there's many things I like about Andrew, but he's someone I know has played football, because he told me once he went out, got drunk, his team played the worst team in the league, and they were drawing 0-0 or something, and there was a penalty in the 89th minute, and Andrew subbed himself on to take it, and then missed it.
Andrew,
That's a true footballer.
All all we need to know is just a yes, yes, he's correct, or no, he's absolutely talking foul.
That's a true footballer, and like
Yeah.
there are loads of people that talk about transfers and stats and things like that. That's why you've always got to rate people like Andrew, because he's played the game and he understands it. And like I've got huge. It's the best. Isn't that the best story?
Oh, dearie me.
But what was the question, Mr. B?
I have no idea what the hell we were talking about.
It's just these stories that got carried. We just love these stories, don't we? The worst I've seen was when we was playing a game, and I think this guy scored an own goal. We ended up losing 3-2 or something like that. And as he went in the showers, obviously, the DP, you can either get the spray or the cream, can't you?
Yeah.
But this guy had the cream, and he put the cream on the inside of his boxers.
Oh no!
Right? And then when he put his boxers on, got himself dressed and all this, and he's there and he's rubbing him, and he's thinking, blimey, he's literally sweating all over there, and he's there, and he's like this in the chair, going backwards and forwards like this, and his thing was, I think it was Wing. I went, Wing, you're right. He went, no, mate. He said, I've really got to do it. He said, there's something wrong. I said, wrong? I said, what do you mean? He went, well, down here.
Would you
He
prefer
went
that,
into
Anthony?
the toilet, he started chucking water over himself.
Oh god, that action made me think that was going to be a Saliba story.
Obviously.
Oh my god, well done.
But yeah, I've seen a few jokes in my time playing football. Yeah,
They go. I mean, like now you think they'd go too far, didn't they? I remember, like, was it Ashley Cole that like just got bored and started shooting like the YTS boys with an air rifle? I mean,
Yeah,
imagine that in today's game.
yeah. He was playing for Chelsea then.
See, things
Yeah.
you can and things you could get away with and things you can't get away with. Obviously, there's a lot of things you can't do in Saudi. Without getting too political on the subject. Henderson. Obviously now we know that he's past his best. They're looking to pay him 750 grand a week. Which works out to be, I don't know, 36 million pound a year or something like that. They were saying on the radio today. Is that a figure that you can turn down as a footballer at any age?
That's
Obviously,
39 million, I think.
39, oh, good grief. There you go, 39 million. Is that money that you can turn down?
No, like
No.
the thing right with Saudi and what they're doing is that like I like boxing. I think Mr. B, do you like boxing? Yeah,
Love it.
right. How do you feel about Fury fighting that guy with like loads of G's in his
Oh
name's
no,
an MMA fighter?
I think that's a disgrace. I
Exactly.
do actually. Yeah, I actually think that's a disgrace. In Ngannou?
Yeah, and Kunku, I've no idea.
Ngannou, something like Ngannou. So, yeah, I think that's a disgrace. To be fair.
Also, I just shout out to Andrew again. Yes, Prime Minister is one of the best shows ever made, and I have seen that episode where Humphrey comes in like the full setup. It's a brilliant show, especially if you like me, if you had a Catholic education and you enjoy Latin. A lot of Latin in Yes Minister. But it's all right. So, would you like Fury is probably getting paid, let's say 100 million. And that's being conservative. Do you hold it against him now for him fighting Kanu? I don't know MMA. It's messy.
Ngannou. Yeah, I can't. It makes no sense. But it's money. It's money.
Yeah.
And, the thing
It's
is
generational wealth. It's securing your
Mm.
grandkids and their grandkids as well. I didn't do it with. Do you remember Oscar moved like at 27 or something to China for ridiculous money? I don't think that you can have a go at these players for providing for their family. Like we've all got to put bread on the table for our families. It's the most important thing, and like it's almost exploitative from the Saudis to do this because no one can turn down. You tell me the man that can turn down 40 million a year.
No.
Can't.
The only one I can think of is Zuckerberg, who turned down $1 billion for Facebook. Well, he's probably made more from it since. But the one thing that's actually quite important about all this Saudi signing all these players is that Saudi Arabia have been banned several times in football for not paying fees and then using it as political leverage, like to, the fee gets paid, but not to the football club. It gets paid in other ways. And we're seeing, and this is one of my criticisms of Eric Ten Hag, he's responsible for this with the substitution of Ronaldo against Spurs. We're seeing football like being eaten up the same way that golf and tennis and boxing have been eaten up by Saudi Arabia, and it's really worrying for me, because I believe that grassroots football is the foundation of the World Cup and things like that. Like, I hate VAR not because it's boring and it takes so long. It's because that when we play football, and we actually have linos instead of someone from our squad being a linesman. It's exactly the same rules as the Premier League, but this isn't the case anymore. And I think that Saudi is taking even more away from the normal person about sport, and sport's one of the only things that lets you dream now.
Like this team that Henderson gone, is this the one that Steven Gerrard's in charge of?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the other day I also read he's after Aubameyang from Chelsea.
He wants to go America now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he wants to sign Aubameyang as well. But it's like what I said. I mean, Steven Gerrard, obviously, he's gone over there. He wants to make a good name. He wants to make a name for himself. Obviously, it sounds like he does want to win trophies and obviously win the league with this team. And it makes you think that the reason why he's gone over there to manage is most probably because it's this as well. But I mean, it's going to take the good quality players out of the game, or like it could take them out of mainly the English Premier League, and obviously they go over to Saudi and they start playing there, and you think, why? I think after a period of time, if this does carry on, we can lose our top quality players that plays in the Premier League.
Do you think that the 25 and the 26-year-old English? I don't think there's going to be any English players that are going to go. To be fair, in their prime.
What about Salah? Like, Salah is he 30 years old? He's committed Muslim. Yeah. Pogba is rumoured to be joining. Like, the religious aspect of it is very attractive to a lot of players, as well as the money. Like, I think, and someone in the comments last week said that, and it was a really good comment, said that they're targeting Muslims, Brazilians, Africans, and they don't seem to be moving to more Europeans, which is why the Neves transfer was so surprising. Because Fred, like, Brazilians play anywhere. Like, the good ones leave Brazil at about 20, and they will go literally anywhere to play. Oh yeah, I'm talking too much. We're avoiding comments.
No, that's fine. That's what you're here. I keep telling you, I didn't bring you on here to keep your bloody mouth shut. I'll deal with that. Here we go. This is for you. No, that's not the one. Hold on. Here we go.
A man's never told me that before. I haven't got you here to keep your mouth shut.
Bath, have you ever been sweating alcohol and passed out, bounced up thinking you were fouled, ready to fight someone, and everybody on the pitch is laughing at you?
Yeah, obviously. Like, when I was like playing in Chile, our manager used to give us stuff that Maradona was banned for in the 1994 World Cup, which is legal in Latin America. We used to call them Maradona pills. And I wasn't quite as disciplined as I am now. And I might have come back from a house party or something, taken some performance enhancing drugs, and then like got in a fight like on the pitch, and no one backed me up because they were all laughing at me. That might have happened several times.
See, it's the beauty of this is the beauty of amateur football. This is the beauty of amateur football. I will still take the Saudi money,
Yeah.
but this is the beauty of amateur football, man. Before we do go any further, guys, if you are still in the chat, please, I haven't even asked you to hit the like button. Please hit that button for me if you haven't already. Hopefully, we've got a 20 or a 25 before we actually leave the stream. Kyle, you were bloody late, weren't you? Huh? We're only a month out the new season. You know, come on. The show's 50
You
minutes.
just asked for likes, and then you're calling out like a viewer for
no,
being late.
No, he was just, I know, but you know,
Kyle.
You're 50 minutes
What's wrong
late.
with you?
We're gonna be finished. Those. See, there you go. See, get them done. Before we do wrap up. Look, Luton. This is obviously I had a couple of reservations about Luton coming up. I didn't have a preference who came up, but I saw pictures of the away end and the entrance to the away end, Luton, where you can see in people's bathrooms and stuff, and see the toilet roll hanging, the silhouette of the toilet roll hanging up in their window. So I think that they postponed the game against Burnley. They're struggling. Do you think this is going to have an impact on them for the rest of the season in regards to, you know, obviously when Man United go down there, obviously they're only going to be allocated a certain amount, but you can guarantee that I think they're going to struggle with the infrastructure, to be fair.
Go on, Anthony.
They will. You've actually been to their ground. Is actually your Q&A, which outside, which looks like a shop, a building of a shop, and then you go underneath. You go underneath it, and then you go up these iron stairs, these iron steps, and then you're actually out onto the people's back garden. You can actually see what people are doing in the houses, whether they're in the kitchen making a cup of tea, this, that, and the other. Honestly, it is. And as you get to the top, it brings you right to the top tier of the one of the corner of the stands. But I gotta be honest with you, it's safe to say this, Mr. B, because we're past watershed, but what a shithole. Seriously. Honestly, God, what a shithole. And you look at the pitch, and I tell you what, looking at the pitch when they're playing, there's nothing there. It's just like a park. You know when you go and see your kids playing football at a park? That's what the pitch reminds you of. It's an absolute shithole. My brother's in this chat. My brother will tell you as well. He's been there at Luton, and it is absolutely rubbish.
That sounds fun.
He said he's been to that away end at Luton, crazy place, had to pee in the garden of the steps. There you go.
Yeah, it's rubbish. It's dire. I don't understand. They're better off knocking it down and rebuilding it, but obviously they can't. But this is like what I said. They got so much work it needs to be done to it. And obviously, you've got to give them credit because obviously what they've done and what they've achieved to get promoted into the Premier League, by the way. But they're on about raising the capacity. They've got to raise it up by 10,000. Since like the last time I read it, but there's so much work it needs to be done to this stadium. It is not gonna is gonna have a knock on effect, but it ain't gonna be done in time.
Where are they going to play, Anthony? You know where they're going to play.
Wembley.
Say.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're so funny.
Thank you. For me, right, I'm quite conflicted about Luton in the Premier League because I have a sort of history with Coventry City. Where do you know who Alan Carr is? The sort of comedian with bad teeth.
The comedian, yeah.
His dad was the head youth scout at Coventry City, and he turned me down several times for football. And so, like, I sort of like I have an affinity with Coventry, and they played Luton in the FA Cup final. Not the FA Cup final, the playoff final. But I love mental grounds. Like Craven Cottage is my favourite ground in the Premier League, and it's also quite difficult as Manchester United fans to talk about another stadium being terrible, because Old Trafford it's a cathedral and it's great and I love it, but we don't have any tellies anywhere, like sort of you know, like where you see like VAR decision pending. Don't have any of that. And this isn't about the Glazers, but the stadium is full of rats. Like everywhere you go, that like when you go to concessions and stuff, there'll be rats running about, and so I find it difficult to sort of poo-poo another team because they got a rubbish stadium. But I think that the Premier League is very homogenous. Everywhere's the same. Every stadium feels pretty similar. Like, you know, the Emirates, the Anne Boleyn ground. They're nothing like Upton Park or Highbury, and Luton feels like a throwback to the 70s or the 80s, and I think it's great that they're in the league, and every match going fan, or like away match going fan, which is the lifeblood of a lot of clubs, will be one of the first fixtures they check this year, because as you and your brother did, you had a little look around someone's front room, you know, have a little piss on the in the garden. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Like, you know, them guys that live at that stadium probably flog ball. They certainly would if De Gea was playing. They'll flog like match balls that have been kicked into the garden. Be absolutely great. No, Upton Park, Andrew, at the Anne Boleyn ground. Have I got this wrong? Is it Olympic Stadium? And the Anne Boleyn ground. All right. Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Go and miss another last-minute penalty. Good one,
guys. We've hit the time. We've hit the time. That went really quick. I enjoyed having you on bath time. When was it? Have we ever done a show together? Really?
Yeah, we have. We've done a couple of like the sort of boring 8:30 shows, which are all structured and stuff.
Okay,
but
good.
Yeah, like only a couple, and I've always wanted to be on more shows with you because I like how angry and aggressive you get about stuff. You look like a snapping turtle, like when you're talking about Fred or McTominay. It's absolutely great.
I'm a nice guy, really. Sometimes they do get on my tip, but I promise to be
passionate.
Yeah, that's the word I'd use. Bloody.
Oh, and this is something that I've asked in the comments for ages, and no one's ever brought it up. Don't worry, it's nothing to do with Love Island. On it will be your right-hand side, you've got, is that new? That sort of like banner with the FA Premier League and Manchester United?
No, it had been, it was on the other side. And then when the camera moves, I couldn't put it there, so I moved it to the other side. So no, it's an old one, but it's a new position. It's in a new position.
I like it. Your skills are growing, the decorations are growing. And I'm a huge fan of Andy Cole. Very underrated, and I really like the fact you got that. That's like the only player you've got up.
Yeah, he's my guy.
Fourth leading goal scorer in the Premier League. Only one that didn't take penalties.
Yeah. Do you know what? The little story on Andy Cole, he actually played for Arsenal reserves, and George Graham didn't rate him. So George Graham sold him to my home team, Bristol City, and he was absolutely scoring goals. He was ripping that league to shreds, Andy Cole. And then obviously went and signed for Newcastle.
Yeah.
Played up with Peter Beardsley. I mean, he was the only one that scored 41 league goals, wasn't it, in that season?
Yeah.
And
we had Martinelli on trial and turned him down. Yeah, we had like Martinelli and Greenwood played up front when they were like 15 or 16. Like Martinelli wasn't this amazing find from Brazil. Everyone knew about him, that he was going to be, he was going to get to the top, or let's all give up. And Martinelli did the rounds, like a lot of clubs, but he played. He's been in a Man United kit, and we didn't fancy him. But I suppose it's the same as Wenger and Ferguson. Every top player, like obviously the story about Mbappe but like it would have been 7 million, I think, for Arsenal.
Mm.
Like turn them all down.
Well, I can remember they were interviewing Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger. They were both together when they were interviewing on stage, and Arsene Wenger went in for Cristiano Ronaldo, and then obviously Alex Ferguson got to hear about him. I think he watched videos on him. He sent some scouts out to watch him as well, and he picked obviously Manchester United. And he was asked a question. So, what was the price difference between both of you? And Arsene Wenger, being Arsene, he said, he went, I believe it was in the region of 20p.
Yeah, like Suarez. Like, was it a pound? You didn't get him for. But I mean, my understanding with the Ronaldo story is that United had the deal done, or they thought they had it done, and everyone began to move for Ronaldo. So we had to do it like a year early and give him the 7. And worked out. First time it worked out extremely well. And I've just remembered what Andrew's question was, which is, could one player make Man United Premier League contenders?
Oh God, is that what it started?
Yeah.
We didn't answer it. No.
So just to answer it for Andrew, no. The 3 best players in the world are probably Mbappe, Haaland, and Messi in terms of getting you goals. Like not creating them, but getting them. I don't think that any of those players makes a difference. I think if you were to get in John McGinn, Tyrone Mings, and Ollie Watkins instead of Mbappe, you'd probably have like more resources to get higher up the table.
Tyrone Mings,
left-footed centre back. He's good. He's a good player. Like, would you have Mings? Would you have Mings as reserve for Martinez?
No.
Would you have him as reserve for Maguire?
No. I wouldn't have Tyrone Mings anywhere near my football team.
Do you know the story about Paddy and Tyrone Mings?
Oh God, then go on, tell me. Go on, tell me.
Paddy, like Paddy Silk, who used to be on this channel, lives in Birmingham, and he goes to a gym, and he saw Tyrone Mings in the changing room, and he went, "Look, Tyrone, I've just got one thing to say to you. I don't rate you," and then walked off. Imagine being Tyrone Mings, and someone comes up to you and says, "I don't think you're good enough for Man United." Like, unbelievable.
What gym would Paddy go to that would be the same gym as Premier League earning bloody Tyrone flipping Mings?
With no disrespect to Paddy, you just have to say what gym. And already that's a question to me.
Well, he's famous, wasn't he, Paddy? He was in the was he in the advert for Betfred?
Was he?
He was, yeah, wasn't he an advert with Incy and your man from the United Stand, like Mark Goldbridge or something?
Was he?
Yeah, and he also did the bookies, Betfred. It was him and his, I think it was him and his missus. He actually said it on the on one of the shows that he was on.
What?
Well, more importantly, shout out to Mr. B, who was the star of some BT like segments with OMONDI and Paddy.
Oh, bloody hell! I forgot about all of that.
It was really good. Like, have you seen Platoon? You know where that guy is like on his knees with his hands up. Mr. B was like that after like McTominay passed sideways.
Oh, you're just figuring it all up. Do you know what?
And also, just to address something that I've seen, I'm sorry to front load the comments, but Andrew Williams said Onana is a glorified Bruce Grobbelaar. With the exception of Gary Bailey, Bruce Grobbelaar is probably, and this sounds crazy, is probably the best African goalkeeper of all time.
Yeah, he was good.
Zimbabwe, didn't he?
Yeah,
he was good.
Yeah. Like Bailey at United was South Africa, but not he was by like calculation or something. But Bruce Grobbelaar is the best African goalkeeper of all time, and hopefully Onana surpasses him because he's our boy.
Look, we started with Onana. We're going to end with Onana. We are now definitely over the time. Bath time. Thank you, man. I'm going to get you back on anyway. I know you're not doing much on a Friday night, if you don't mind. We can come with a non-scripted show. We don't even have to do any bloody homework. You know what I mean?
It's been an absolute pleasure, Mr. B. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you, man. Anthony, next week, Anthony, what are you doing? Right. I tell you what my idea is. Right, we've got UTOSA soon, didn't we? In the pre-season, 10 p.m.
Oh,
kickoff.
we're gonna kick ass.
All right, that's what I wanted to hear. It's the pre-season. The band is starting. How would you like? We'll get and do a double watch along.
Yeah, well, then I'll come on for a watch along. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
It's all right. We'll
I need to
set
know
that up.
what is it? Is it I haven't looked to check to see if is it televised or no.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
We've got our ways.
Yeah, you know there's ways of doing things. I'm not sure they can do that. I'm not sure those ways work in Bristol, but I'm sure things can work out. I'm sure we can get things worked out. But yeah, if we can set that up, that'll be banging. We'll get the double watch along done up, set up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good guys in the chat. Thank you for still being here. If you are, if you're not, then you should have stayed until the end. If you are
huge
still
shout
here,
outs to George, Andrew, Jeff across the pond. Like, lovely that you guys instead of having.
This is what I'm saying. On a Friday, this is my point. This is what I keep saying.
You could be having a bit of ownerism, but like a biblical term. But you're here with us. Ownerism and a pot noodle. Perfect evening in. That's a real Friday night takeaway.
Pot noodle. What flavour then?
It doesn't matter. Just combine them. Why waste protein?
God. What's this one? How about Arsenal? Let's see.
The slaggable snacks they used to call that.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, we'll do a full thing. DK Williams. Thank you, man, all the way from Texas.
DK Wilson.
DK Wilson. Oh shit, yeah. Now I got my bloody glasses on. Yeah, you know what's kicking in now, don't you? Look, guys,
I hope so.
It's time to go across the pond. We'll sort that out, man. We will sort that out, guys. Thanks for watching. This is the Friday night takeaway, and I'm not. Let me have my manners. We are out. Thanks for watching.